Good evening, everyone. This is Trell of Jill and Trell, founders of Detour Movement Incorporated, and we are on tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about how to identify your ideal audience. This is Module 2 of the Kingdom Builders 365 program, and we thank you all for joining us tonight. We have some juicy information to share with you, and know that this information will be enlightening for you and your business. So we're ready to dive right in. Jill, are you on?
I am. So I'm just going to jump right into slide 2, which you'll see it come up on your screen saying identifying your ideal audience. And we're just going to look at 3 parts. It's going to be a short module. We're going to encourage you to do the after work or the homework right after you complete this module. Since it's short, hopefully you can get enough time to go and do the homework, because that's really where you're going to be able to uncover your ideal audience as you try to figure out who am I talking to when you go into the marketplace and who you should be trying to reach. So the first thing is part 1. You need clarity on what you do and who you serve. Okay, that's like you need to be clear. We talked about this in the previous module. You should have already identified what industry you're in. You know, we talked about what problem you're solving, you know, whether that's dealing with relationships, whether that's dealing with purpose, whether that's dealing with, so it's a couple of different areas that, you know, you can help people with wealth or education. You know, it has to be something for you to be working with people. They have to have some type of problem you're trying to solve. So you got to be clear on, okay, what industry am I working with in? And then you can get clear on who you serve. That's part 1. Part 2, we're going to look at identification and characteristics of your ideal audience. What does that look like from, you know, whether it's geographic, psychographic, and a couple of different areas. And then lastly, but definitely not least, kind of where to find them. Because when we get into business, this is like the most important thing is when you talk about business, you have to have sales. Even though I know sometimes you want to run some sales, you have to have some level of sales in your business. And in that, you have to know who are you going to talk to, who needs your service, who are you serving, and where exactly to find them. So moving on to slide number 3, I'm just saying clarify on what you do and who do you serve? So first, what problem do you solve? You know, what solution and benefits does your product or service bring to the table? And again, when I say what problem do you solve, when you have your product or service offering, what benefits are people getting as a result of working with you? Okay, like one of the things that I do is I'm a relationship coach, and I help people prepare and position people in regards to their dating relationships and making the right choice in that. So what problem I'm solving is women who may be frustrated, women who, you know, have a history of making bad decisions as it pertains to their relationship. I'm helping them to identify who they are and position themselves to attract more healthier relationships into their lives. You know, I know we have one young lady that's in our group who deals with education, and she's like helping people in the educational realm. So we have to be clear, okay, what benefits are people going to get as a result of working for you? So that's kind of what problem do you solve. Be clear on that. And the second thing I have here is what solution benefits does your product or service bring to the table? So, and this is really important as you spend some time diving deep and understanding the benefits. Because people don't buy features, they don't buy just products and services. They are buying the benefits of working with you. So again, using the example, when I talk about, you know, my relationship business, okay, when I'm dealing with people and helping them in relationships, then the benefit people are getting is they're saving time, you know, of finding me. They're having a mate find them. They're having the benefit of not getting into a relationship that won't serve them. You know, they're getting the benefit of being more clear on what a healthy relationship looks like, what the quote-unquote right guy looks like. So those are some of the benefits that they're reaping as a result of, you know, working with me. And again, if we go to the example with education, if someone is helping people, let's say if you're helping people maybe who have people get their GED, you know, so again, you got to figure out what benefits are you helping them achieve. You're helping them get a higher education, which is going to help them to get a higher paying job. You know, all these type of things, you should be able to identify what benefits are people getting as a result of working with me. And even thinking about this program, for example, as a result of working, going through the Kingdom Builders 365 program, some of the benefits you're getting is getting clarity on your business, learning how to increase your sales in your business, learn how to identify your ideal audience, learning how to generate revenue for your business. So we need to be very clear on how to articulate those benefits so we can express that to our prospect when we're talking to them. So what do you do and how do you do it? Or what do you do and how do I serve? So you have to think about what unique elements or characteristics do your product or service provide. And then you also think about what unique elements or characteristics do you, your personality, your energy provide. So let's just break this down a little bit. When you talk about what unique elements or characteristics do your product or service provide, again, if we talk about Kingdom Builders 365, some of the unique elements of this is because, you have the online modules that you can access for a full year. So that people can go at their own pace and access these modules. They don't have to feel pressure to be on a call at a certain time. Whenever it's convenient for them, they can do that. They can walk through it on their own. And then another unique element or benefit that this program provides is that you have to call, where you have a call with, a time that you can reach out to Trell and I and get your questions answered about some of the modules, about some of the work, whether that's pre-work, whether that's some homework, whether that's content in the modules, so you can get more clarity. Again, this is all unique elements, characteristics of the product or service that we're providing. And if, as a service provider yourself, you need to be able to articulate that about your product or service. Moving on to the second piece, what unique element or characteristics do you provide, like your energy and your personality? I know sometimes we seem like a lot of people are getting into business right now, whether it's starting a nonprofit, whether it's starting some type of business, whether it's selling some type of tea. I mean, right now you see a big movement, a lot of people going into entrepreneurship one way or another. And, rather than being discouraged and saying, oh, my God, everybody's doing this, you have to embrace your uniqueness of who you are and what you bring to the table, and because nobody can replicate or duplicate you. Yeah, somebody can start a nonprofit. Yeah, somebody can start an educational facility or whatever. Somebody can offer a business course, but they can't do you. And you need to embrace your uniqueness, understand what are you bringing to the table, when you think about your personality. I know for me, some of the uniqueness things I bring to the table is I'm very strategic. I'm a strategist, so I help people in that area. I do really well with content development. So these are things that I can bring to the table, assets that I bring to the table to my clients when we're serving them, and also just being very compassionate and considerate. And one thing I like to say about Detour Movement Inc., period, and just Trell and I, we're very intimate. When we respond to people, whether it's on Facebook, on Instagram, we try to leave that intimacy in our community, which we find that's unique because a lot of people aren't doing that. So be able to identify that in your business. So taking on to part 2.
Identification. We're talking about the identification and characteristics. And that's helpful to know because you need to be able to identify what type of characteristics that you have as a business owner, and also what you're going to bring in the areas of your geographic, your demographics, and also your psychographics. When we talk about your geographics, and we're talking about the audience that you're going to reach, identifying your ideal audience, you have to understand what as far as geographic is concerned, what areas am I reaching out to? Who am I reaching out to? And if you look on the slide here, it lists nations, countries, states and provinces, cities, neighborhoods, streets. What area or what geographic area are you reaching out to? Are you just reaching out to those in your neighborhood? Are you doing just those that are within your county or your certain city that you're currently living in? I know one of our clients have a business in the Moncks area, and that is very unique to her because the type of services that she's offering and that she wants to offer, there's not a lot of businesses that are out there, so she has a great advantage to offer her services to the various audience out there. So you have to understand, like, geographic-wise, how does my business fit? How does my model fit into this entire realm of what I'm doing as far as my audience is concerned? So when we go to, the demographics, you have to understand your audience as it relates to their age, their gender, ethnicity, income, and education. I know a lot of times we want to reach everybody. You have some business owners and some entrepreneurs that say, I reach everybody. I cater to all women. I cater to all men. I cater to everyone. And that's totally not the case. You have to understand, how is your business unique to a specific group of people, to a specific age of people. I know we first founded the Detour Movement. That was one of the issues we had, because we didn't understand who we were reaching. We didn't understand the cutoff, because we knew that all women needed help in the areas of relationship and needed help in the areas of making better life choices and things of that nature. But we had to be able to be strategic to say, okay, we're reaching an audience between this age and this age. These are the type of women that we're reaching: single women, single moms, divorced women, women that are, single and lonely, that want to be in a relationship, women that have had hard times in previous relationships and they want to be able to have fulfilled and fruitful relationships. As far as ethnicity is concerned, we don't have a specific ethnicity in this case for Detour Movement Incorporated, because all ethnicities can definitely partake and benefit from the services that we provide. What we found as far as the income is concerned is that there were a lot of women that were single moms or just single women in general, didn't have husbands, so the incomes were lower. So what we had to do, again, in being strategic, we had to say, okay, we're going to cater to these type of women that are between the ages of 16 and 40, 16, 39, and 40, which are going to be female. All ethnicities are all inclusive, and these women typically make $40,000 or less. So that's the type of woman that we cater to. And as it relates to the educational piece, most of the women that we cater to either have at least a high school diploma or perhaps an undergrad degree. So, again, we have to be strategic to say, okay, we're going to cater to women that are between the ages of 16 and 39, all ethnicities, the income is $40,000 or less, and these women may have at least an undergraduate education or lower. And that typically is what our demographic look like as far as Detour Movement is concerned. We do have some professionals. We do have those that make over that 40,000 mark and that have higher education, but for the most part, that's what our demographic looks like. So what you have to sit down and see for your business, okay, what does my demographic look like? Who am I catering to? What is my age bracket? Am I catering to females and males or just one or the other? Is there a certain ethnicity? And that would probably only come to play if you were offering a certain product or service that would cater to a specific ethnicity. If you're doing something like a daycare or some type of nonprofit that would help educational-wise or things of that nature, that may not come into play. But just depending on what your business structure is, you may have to take that in consideration. And as far as income is concerned, I know one of our clients do have a daycare, and I believe the daycare offers services to low-income parents. So income would be an issue as far as her business model is concerned. She would have to look at that to say, okay, I'm catering to single moms, and I know that their income is only going to be a specific amount if you want to do it as far as statistics-wise, and then education as well. And you would do the same thing with that as far as being strategic. Now, when you talk about the psychographics,
before you go there, I want to throw something on demographics. You can also take advantage of researching the census, like the U.S. Census. It's done every 10 years, and you can kind of research different things. Rather, like she talked about geographic and demographics, you can search, okay, you're thinking, okay, I'm in this area. You may see how many, depending on who your audience is, if you're serving single moms, you can see how many single moms is in any particular geographical region or area. All that information can be abstract, if you will, from the U.S. Census. I remember when we first started and we did our original business plan, we looked at that. We looked at the ages of those women. You can look at the income and education, and that could be a great reference and resource as you start to develop, whether it's your business plan or do some of the foundational work to understand who you're serving and who's out there that you need to be reaching. You may say, okay, I don't know what the income is in this area because that's going to help you set your prices and such. So you can do that by doing searches with the U.S. Census. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, and that is found online, and also for a competitive perspective, so you'll know how to price your different products and services. And I know you don't typically go and look at somebody's prices and say, I'm going to set it here, but you do want to be in the realm of pricing. We talked about that in the last call. When you start pricing for your daycare, pricing for your product or services, you don't want to be too far above the bar. You don't want to be too low below the bar either. So the Internet is also a great tool to be able to look at competitors in your area that may be offering a similar product or service, and that's the way you can utilize that system as well. Okay, psychographics. When you talk about psychographics, and we have 5 listings on here: personality, values and opinions, attitude, interests, and lifestyle. And all these things are important because, again, you have to understand, or you have to be aware of who you are serving, what type of people you're serving. When it comes to Detour Movement Incorporated, we have to take all of these things into consideration because we have women from all over the United States. And they all have different issues and problems they're dealing with as it relates to their life, as it relates to their relationships, as it relates to their marriage, and things of that nature. So we have to take all of these things into consideration when we're offering them a product and service. Even when we're developing content and things of that nature, we oftentimes like to look at what does our audience need? What is our audience asking us to bring to the table? What are the things that they value? What type of attitude do they have toward a specific post that we may put out there? What post, when we post on social media, we like to look at it and say, okay, what post grabs the most attention, or what post, seeks the most interest of our audience? We're talking about singleness, if we're talking about dating, if we're talking about getting over your ex, if we're talking about being whole in Christ. We kind of take a measure, so to speak, of those things just so we'll know how to cater to our audience. And that's the same thing that you can do for your business as well. Even if you're not on social media, you can always do some type of survey or have something available for your audience so you can know how you can serve them, so you can know what is catering to them, what is catering to their lifestyle, and how you can be a better business owner, how you can be better in your community as far as the business that you're currently operating in. And you want to know what their interests are, because in order to serve them, you have to know what they're interested in. And I know a lot of times business owners make mistakes and they just come up with the content and they do things because they feel this is what they need to do as far as to make their business successful. But the only way you can reach your audience is reach your audience and connect with them. Stay connected with them. Have that conversation with them by way of social media, by way of surveys, by way of them just telling you, okay, this is what we need from you. This is what we're looking to get out of using your product or your service. And if you listen, it may not be a direct conversation, but if you listen long enough and hard enough, they will be able to tell you what they're interested in. And I believe that's part 3, where to find them. When we talk about finding your audience, and this is where to find your audience. So where would you go to find your audience? And again, this just depends on the type of business that you have, the type of product and services that you're going to offer. So for somebody that may be in the educational realm, we have a few listings that are down here: schools, communities, and sponsors events. So it really just depends on what you're offering. You may not always be in the public organization or private organization arena. And the public organization would be like the federal government. Private organization would be any other organization outside of the federal government. So it really just depends on what your business structure is, what your business model is, and what type of audience you're looking for as far as to be able to cater to them. So it just depends. You may go to a conference or a concert if you're offering something to teens, or something to, like say you have a women's organization like Detour Movement, very catered to women. So ideally, we would go to other conferences. We would go to something like a concert to pull in various audience. We would go to a school or community-sponsored event because we do cater to young girls that are 16 and older. So anything that a local high school may have or a college may have that's catering to young women, that may be something that we can go in and be the keynote speaker for, or host a seminar or workshop or whatever the case may be. So it really just depends on your business, your structure, and where you're trying to go. As far as social media and the internet, I think everybody should be on some form of social media and internet. I know that the social media does not drive a lot of traffic, but if utilized correctly and effectively, you can definitely drive traffic to your business or to your organization by way of social media. It definitely is a task, but if you utilize it correctly, you will be able to drive traffic to your business. And when you talk about public organizations as well, I know that we have a few chambers that are out here. We have the Southeastern Chamber of Commerce. We have Berkeley Chamber and things of that nature. That would be an example also of a public organization. And I know that those places do have meetups. I want to say every quarter they have meetups, social networking events, and things of that nature. Get in the know. And being a business owner as well, it is very vital for you to be able to network. I know we all have families and other things that are going on, and sometimes we don't want to go out after, working all day to a social event, but it is imperative if you're going to grow your business, if you're going to find your you're going to find your audience, and be able to understand who you're serving and why you're serving them. It is imperative for you to be able to go out there and to meet those type of people so that you can bring in. When you talk about private organizations, that also talks about sororities and things of that nature. I know sororities are normally closed to the public, but they do oftentimes have events that are open to everyone. So those are things also you can take advantage of because your clients can be right there. Your clients can be sitting in that room, in that conference or whatever that sorority is having, that workshop, whatever they're having, your client could be sitting in that space. So you have to be able to go out, find out about these things. We have something here in just the Charleston area that's called the Charleston Paper. Charleston City Paper, I believe it's called .com, and that's online. And you can go online to find out the various events that are going on in the Charleston area. I believe any county here in Charleston has that same access, and you can be able to go and find the different things that are going on in the area so you can say, okay, this may be a good opportunity for me to go in and to network. And networking brings about clients. You're generating leads. You're going in to find out, what these people are about. You're going to tell them what you're about and to see if you can generate some type of lead or prospect for your business and be able to sell your product and service. And let's not forget the old directory phone books. I know that we don't actually have phone books anymore, but there is a directory online and different things that you can look up. If you're looking for specific a subject matter, you can just type that in. Google is so amazing. Like, you can just type that in and you can find different businesses and different people that would cater to your business. And also social media, I don't know if you all knew this, but social media has a bar. I believe it's called a graph or what it's called. You can type in different things in that bar, like the little URL that's on Facebook, and it will take you to different people that are, whatever keywords you put in there, it will take you to different people's pages that may have a similar interest to what you're looking for. So if you're looking for relationships, healthy relationships, or single and dating, single and waiting, or whatever the case may be, if you type that in, it will bring up all these pages of those people that have the same or similar interests as you. So you also can utilize that as a tool as well to find your audience.
Absolutely. That's all true. And I'm just going to add to that. It's like really two primary ways. Well, there's a million ways you can get people, but really there's two primary ways that you can get prospects and get in connection with your ideal audience. One way, and all Cheryl was talking about, really like she's saying, is getting out and networking and meeting them in person. Well, I guess you can say three ways. I'm going to say three ways, but two primary. One is going out and meeting people in person, and how going to these different things that Cheryl talked about, from whatever, social networking gathering. You got to go out, meet people so people can know who you are. You do not want to be the best-kept secret in your industry. I've been there, done that. So you can't just hide behind your computer all day and thinking you're going to, and yeah, you can have an online business, you can, but then you got to build a list, and that's a whole nother training and topic, that we will deal with later, but it takes time to do that. It just doesn't happen overnight. So we encourage you to go in your own backyard and get known, make those connections, let people know what you're doing, and you can do direct prospecting, when you go out and meet somebody who's a direct prospect for what you're selling or offering, or you also do the B2B, business to business, where you could form those joint ventures with other people who have the same ideal audience that you have, and y'all can partner together and do all kind of things, whether it's product creation together. You may host an event together. You may host a workshop together. There's so many things that you can do. So that's the primary way.
Out is like the most effective because you get to meet somebody in person, and you can tell them right then and there what you do and how you can serve them. You can tell them right then and there like what problem you're solving. And we all know that everybody wants to know what's in it for me. So if you're out and about networking and at these social events that we have so often around the Charleston and surrounding areas, I think you have a better chance of bringing somebody, and you have a better chance of drawing in your audience and building your business and things of that nature, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So that's one way. Another way, which I think people hate, and I know it's difficult for me, but it's something that we have to do if you want to maximize your reach, is like last thing Cheryl mentioned was phoning, using the directory, or rather even if you're generating warm leads, because sometimes you can go places or you can host an event and generate leads, or other ways you can give people contact information, even sometimes on, if you have like a sign up on your website, and you retrieve people's information, then you can follow with them on a phone call. So really going out in person or over the phone are the two primary ways to get prospects. There's no golden secret. A lot of people think there's like a golden secret. There's no golden secret. I guess I said there's a third way, because the third way would be online marketing. But like I said, you really got to be reaching the masses to be effective, because they say the return on social media is like 1%. So if you're having an event and you're trying to fill an event, you have to have at least 10,000 people to get 100 people to that event. Is that right, or is that 10%? No, 10 people.
10 people.
10 people. And that's about right, because I'm like, even at our event, we may have had 10 people showed up. We have a little less than, right now, we have a little sub 10,000, and we have maybe less than 10 people that came primarily from social media. Yep. Most people came because of in-person meetings. It takes a longer time to build that relationship online, and then to build that, know-like trust factor. So keep that in mind. It's no golden secret. You can't be in business and say, I don't want to market, I don't want to network. Then you don't want to be an entrepreneur.
And the thing with networking as well, they'll allow you access to these different places. Like if you are in the educational arena, if you know someone that works at the school that's a director, or principal or somebody, or dean at a community college or even a high school, if you cater to that type of audience, that's your gateway into that. You know what I mean? So that's why it's good to connect. That we talk about sisterhood all the time and having community connections and things of that nature. That's all what this is talking about. Because when you have that community connection with people in your community, people at the mayor's office, people at different organizations and businesses out here that may have some interest to your business, you can connect with that person, and that can be your gateway or your way in to being able to offer your product or service to that business as a whole. So, you can't take it for granted, because community connections are, what's going to get you where you need to go.
Absolutely. So we really emphasize on that, because it's really, really, really important, which kind of just takes us to the wrap-up of your homework. So we want to encourage you to complete the Ideal Audience Profile Worksheet, which is kind of going to go through step-by-step what are the demographics and psychographics and the geographics of the audience you're trying to reach, and different things of that nature. And then we also want to encourage you to write out the characteristics of your ideal audience. Actually, the second thing is going to talk about the characteristics of the ideal audience is going to be psychographic demographics. The first thing, the ideal audience, is just going to kind of talk about what you do and who you serve, kind of getting them clear, make sure you're clear on your industry and everything. And then the third thing that we want you to do, and I really encourage you to do it as soon as you get off this, as soon as you close the video, or maybe you can have a video up to reference back to, but identify at least 3 categories where you can find your ideal audience. Or maybe even I should say 3 places. And really 3 is the minimum. I would say even more than that. So that may be, if you are at AKA, for example, you may say, okay, so the AKA association is maybe one place, and that's where your ideal audience is. It may be schools that you're listing. What area, where are you going to find these people? Community organizations, list out. Don't limit yourself to 3. I should really say at least 10 places that you can find your ideal audience. Networking events, think about other businesses that host an event, look up different events. Terrell mentioned something for Charleston where events and such and information can be passed out, or where you can find out what's going on. So you really need to get a form to get an idea where you can find your ideal audience, because you're not going to build a business that's hibernating. You got to get out. You got to connect. You got to know who you're trying to reach and get that clarity. So, Cheryl, did you have anything else before we wrap up?
Yeah, and I just want to just reiterate, you keep saying about hibernation, and that's so true because, I think a lot of business owners, fortunately, they hide behind their social media, and then that's all. So I just want to stress how important it is for you to get out. It's good to post all day, post pictures and inspirational posts and all that good stuff. That's great, but at the end of the day, you need to make your presence known, and especially in your backyard. Everybody in your county, in your city should know what you're doing if you have a business. If someone needs something, let's say if someone needs someone to host a seminar on relationships, they should know to call me and Joe. You know what I mean? So people should know you in your particular county or city, and if they don't know you, and if you are not one of the first persons that they come to when it has something to do with your business, then that's a problem. So I just want to stress the importance of getting out, making your presence known in your community and your city, making your reach known so people will know who you are and they will know who you serve. I had someone ask the other day about they want to host some event, so they asked who we knew to host an event. Immediately I was able to give them a name. Why? Because I knew what the person, who they served, and I knew what their ideal audience was. So I was able to give them the name of a person that will be able to assist them in hosting this event. So it should be the same with, with us. It should be the same with you as a business owner. When someone asks, when they, make a request of something that they need, a particular product or service, they should be able to call on you because they know that you offer that product or service and you serve those audiences.
Absolutely. All right. So we look forward to your questions in the group or an email to connect with you and to answer questions you have about this module. As we like to say, we love you so much. God love is great. It's so much greater and unlimited, and we just thank God for His grace. So with that's it. Do your homework as soon as possible. Don't delay it. Just go ahead and get it out the way so you can have it done and you can get some more clarity on who you're serving and where exactly you can find them. So we love you so much. Be blessed.
Be blessed.